Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, July 29, 2022. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang is to meet with the Crime Monitoring and Oversight Committee, CMOC, in early August to look at effective monitoring of government's national security initiatives. The meeting will also examine the realignment of the oversight framework to ensure there is an appropriate oversight and implementation program going forward. This follows what's reported to be productive discussions held on Wednesday between Minister Chang and the chair of the Crime Monitoring and Oversight Committee, Lloyd Distant. According to a statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, in the meeting, which was arranged last week, both Dr. Chang and Mr. Distant expressed a common understanding on the principle of consensus between the government and the CMOC. There were also wide-ranging discussions on various targets set via consensus, as well as opportunities that currently exist for continued collaboration and dialogue to improve government's legislative processes. Dr. Chang and Mr. Distant pledged to continue their open and frank engagement towards sustained achievements in the fight against crime, violence, and corruption. Meanwhile, the Ministry of National Security is pushing for the mandatory participation of inmates in the rehabilitation programs at correctional facilities. State Minister Xavier Main points out that currently, participation in these programs is voluntary, which he argues limits the Department of Correctional Services' ability to ensure persons leave its facilities equipped for reintegration into society.
The participation of inmates in rehabilitation programs is, however, and unfortunately voluntary. So an inmate may choose not to become part of the programs that are designed to rehabilitate them in preparation for their release back into society. But we continue to urge the courts that as part of its sentencing regime to make orders for inmates to participate in suitable rehabilitation programs.
The minister was delivering the keynote address at the recent passing out parade for 63 new correctional officers in St. Anne. $10,000 will be invested in the infrastructural development of the Savannah Lamar Primary School annually for the next 2 years. The funds are being provided by DTR Foundation and Equity Capital Management under the Ministry of Education and the National Education Trust's Adopt a School program. A memorandum of understanding to solidify the partnership was signed at the Ministry of Education yesterday. The Adopt a School initiative is a collaboration between a school and an external institution, such as a corporation, church, or civic organization, empowering individuals and entities to actively participate in the improvement and preservation of public education. Acting Chief Education Officer Dr. Kassan Troop says it recognizes that an effective education system requires all hands on deck.
Because what you do when you give to education is that you create other lives. It has ripple effect because education is that weapon that breaks poverty, the cycle of poverty, and of course it gives people the opportunity to transform their economic and social realities.
Chairman of Dreams to Reality DTR Foundation, Gerald Hamilton, says it is hoped that others will be inspired to similarly invest in education.
We wanted to be the first also because we wanted to set an example, and we wanted to challenge other past students to do the same.
The Equity Capital is proud to be a part of the advancement of Jamaica and will continue to invest its time, its funds, its efforts in developing the fire of the country.
Another 4 of the Bureau of Standards Jamaica BSJ laboratories have been accredited to ISO IEC 17025-2017 international standards. The BSJ's aggregates, concrete and masonry units, cement testing and energy efficiency testing laboratories have received their certification from the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JANAC. These bring to 8 the number of BSJ labs that have been accredited by JANAC. Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, says this will have significant impact on the local construction and transportation industries.
The accreditation of these labs, coupled with the BSJ Metallurgy Laboratory that was previously accredited by JANAC, will now support the industry in ensuring that the tests that are done on the construction products and materials will improve the quality of buildings, roads, and bridges in Jamaica.
As it regards the energy efficiency testing lab, The minister says its accredited test will determine the extent to which products such as refrigerators, freezers, wine chillers, and room air conditioners meet rigorous safety and energy efficiency standards. This, he says, will assist the country in meeting Sustainable Development Goal SDG 7, which calls for affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all by 2030. Select tax offices across the island will be opened for business this Saturday, July 30, and every last Saturday of the month for the remainder of the 2022-2023 financial year. The St. Andrew Tax Office in Constant Spring, along with the Montego Bay, Mandeville, Savannah Lamar, and St. Anne's Bay tax offices, will operate this Saturday between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The Portmore Tax Office will continue its usual weekly Saturday operations with adjusted business hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tax Administration Jamaica, the TAJ, says this Saturday service provides taxpayers with a convenient option of doing business on the weekend, which should alleviate the usually high walk-in traffic during the busy month and weekday period. Among the services to be offered are processing motor vehicle registration and other motor vehicle transactions, applying for TRN, dropping off documents for the renewal of driver's license, and making tax and fee payments. The TAJ will also be processing property tax payments in the weekend operating hours, as well as the collection of printed driver's license cards. Audit and compliance activities will not be available during the Saturday operations. COVID-19 protocols will continue to be observed during the month-end Saturday openings. And finally, activities are in high gear for the return of the Independence Float and Street Parade on Emancipation Day, August 1. The Jamaica 60 Parade will start at 10 a.m. on Hope Road near the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center. It will then proceed to Halfway Tree and Oxford Road, making a turn onto Tom Redcombe Drive, heading to the National Stadium parking lot. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange says the event is anticipated to draw more than 1,000 attendees.
We will have 8 exciting floats, 7 music trucks, 7 costume groups, effigies, John Canoe, youth groups.
Minister Grange, who is making a statement in Parliament this week, adds that the Float and Street Parade will also feature performances from a number of Jamaican sound systems, including Stone Love, Renaissance, and Rough Cut. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.